Did you hear the news? Southwest Airlines has recently announced service to Chicago O'Hare, and all I can say to that is, good freaking luck. Hey everyone, my name is Scott, and as pessimistic as I may sound, I'm actually really excited about all the expansion that Southwest Airlines has recently announced. The Houston and Miami announcements are brilliant in my opinion, and I have no reason to believe that they'll find success in both locations, especially Miami. Never in my life have I flown into or out of Miami thinking that I got a really good deal on my flight. That's an airport ripe for low-cost competition, and if there's any airline capable of making other airlines squirm in fear, it's gotta be Southwest. However, literally the first words out of my mouth when I heard that Southwest would be invading O'Hare were, and I quote, "Holy crap." Not because I was excited for the potential of watching the fortress hubs of both American and United crumble under the pressure of the so-called Southwest effect. It was mostly because I felt as if, for the very first time in the history of the airline, they bit off a little bit more than they could chew. It's kind of like when your cat knows that she isn't allowed on the table, but jumps up on it anyway with a cocky look on her face that says, "Screw you. You're not the boss of me. I do what I want." It never ends well for the cat. Anyway, keep watching, because I'm going to share with you all the reasons why I think that Southwest Airlines is going to struggle to gain traction at O'Hare. I mean, get liftoff, take off, fly high, roll off into the sunset. The biggest and most obvious problem that Southwest is going to face is actually two problems. Problems otherwise referred to as American Airlines and United Airlines. I mean, it's one thing to try and wedge themselves into an airport that happens to be a fortress hub of one massive airline, but two massive airlines? Southwest Airlines will be encroaching on the turf of the largest and most aggressively anti-competitive airlines in the United States. I say again, good freaking luck. And yeah, I know, thanks to the pandemic, flight schedules are just a fraction of what they were a year ago. Southwest isn't going to have to face the onslaught of a full and very aggressive competitive schedule from either of the hometown airlines for a while. So that's good. But can we really assume that they'll sit by and let Southwest invade O'Hare without fighting back by undercutting them with better flight schedules and lower prices? I don't know the first thing about running an airline, but if by some weird twist of fate that I found myself as the CEO of one of the biggest airlines in the world and Southwest decided to challenge me and my home turf, actually, you know what? They wouldn't stand a chance invading SANspotter Airways' home turf. After all, I don't think there's an airline in the world that would want to share an airport terminal with my stupid airline. That would be way too embarrassing. The next big problem that Southwest is going to face at O'Hare is the already established low-cost competition from other airlines like Spirit and Allegiant. Both have been able to find decent success at this airport by staying in their own lane and not trying to step on the toes, or wheels, of United and American. They focus their route networks on secondary cities that both American and United don't care as much to compete on, and it's working for them. The only problem is, that doesn't leave Southwest with any untapped markets to claim for themselves. They're either going to have to compete with the full-fare carriers or the low-cost carriers. It's going to be really interesting to see which direction they choose. In other words, there's nothing left at O'Hare in regards to innovative and profitable new routes for them to focus on, especially during a pandemic. Well, besides Regina service, that is. If the border between the US and Canada wasn't closed, perhaps hourly service to the city that rhymes with fun could be the key to making O'Hare work for them. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud. On a completely unrelated note, If you've ever had the craving to watch a really good Southwest Airlines review and learn Japanese at the same time, my buddy Kaz has the video for you. Link in the description below. Another reason why I think that Southwest is going to struggle at O'Hare is because, if I'm being honest, they just don't seem all that committed to it. First of all, they're going to be using shared gate space over in Terminal 5. I don't know about you, but nothing screams butt-clenching indecisiveness more than sharing gates with other airlines who are indecisive about serving O'Hare as well. It just feels temporary for some reason. Especially if you're a profitable airline with pockets deep enough to take over entire concourses at nearly any airport. They're definitely afraid of something. Secondly, the 5 initial routes that they announced are surprising in the fact that they are destinations more suited towards business travelers rather than leisure travelers. Wouldn't it have been smarter to start with leisure routes first, since there's still no indication if or when business travel will return to pre-pandemic levels? I can't tell if they're really excited about this, or if it was a matter of one executive making a bet to another executive which challenged his manhood or something. Guys are stupid like that. Even if it's a really bad idea, he'll do it anyway just to prove to the other guy that he ain't scared. The last reason why I think that Southwest will have a hard time at O'Hare is because they don't have to be successful there. This isn't a do-or-die situation for them, especially since they already have a large and very successful presence at Midway Airport just south of town. Southwest has been doing very well in Chicago for years. Say what you will about Midway Airport, it's one of their most active and profitable hubs. They do really well there, and there are no signs of that slowing down. In other words, Midway is an awfully convenient fallback if things don't work out at O'Hare. If they fail, oh well, it's just a matter of throwing their arms up in the air in surrender, loading up a van or two, and nonchalantly driving south down the 294 in casual retreat. The manhood of that challenged executive will be preserved no matter what, and Southwest can continue on expanding like crazy in new places like Miami and Houston. Or I could be totally wrong about all of this, and Southwest will be the dominant airline at O'Hare within the next 10 years. Stranger things have happened, and I sure as heck don't claim to know the future. For what it's worth, when I was 12 years old, I thought I'd be a world-famous car designer by now with an entire fleet of Lamborghinis at my disposal. We all know how that turned out. And, I wonder what the 12-year-old version of Rory from the Trips with Rory YouTube channel imagined what he'd be doing at his current stage in life. Mad props to him if his original goal was to be a super awesome airline reviewer. He totally nailed it. Despite my pessimism of Southwest Airlines succeeding at O'Hare, I've got nothing but positive vibes for all of the SANspotter patrons. Kochan, Aaron Slater, Josh Beaumont, Riley Wingo, and everyone else, thanks as always for your generous support. I literally couldn't do any of this without you. Finally, all I can say is this. Good luck to Southwest Airlines in their quest to crack the O'Hare nut. It's not going to be easy, but I really hope they can prove me wrong. Okay, that little statement should be enough to keep me from being put on the Southwest no-fly list, right? I sure hope so. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.